Alrighty, so here we are. This is the first of our short updates. We are ready to send some ships off. I built another two of those transport ships. One I called the Berkshire, one I called the Sequoia. Since I was already calling one the Valley Forge, it made sense to use the names of the other two ships in the movie. There's actually 5 ships in the movie, but there's only 2 that you see. The other ones are referenced. So anyway, there they are. Valley Forge is all loaded up to go back to Gleba with a bunch of science. I'm also sending some cargo bays so that I can expand the storage over there. And we're going to fill in what remains of the accumulators and the solar panels that we need to take care of over there. Sequoia, on the other hand, is going to Vulcanus. It's set up to go to Vulcanus, pick up a bunch of science, and then we're going to send it back to Gleba. Berkshire is going to do the same thing at Falgora. It's going to go back and forth from Falgora to Gleba, and we're going to bang out what we have left of the sciences. So let us go ahead, and I marked these as passenger present just to pause them there because there won't be a passenger. They won't go anywhere until I tell them to go somewhere. So we're going to send that one to Falgora, that one to Vulcanus, and that one to Gleba. Gleba, Gleba, Gluba, Glaba, Gubba, Gubba, hey. And we're going to follow this one over there. And the first thing we're going to drop down is these cargo bays so that I can add to the storage down there so I don't have to worry about this stuff overflowing things. Beyond that, not a whole lot is going on right now. I did add some more connections for more iron and such. We are going to start, that's the next project I'm going to work on, I think, is we're going to start getting the trains running. We're going to start getting that stuff over here, get this populated so that we can then go ahead and start building this base out. That's kind of my plans. But that's where we stand with that. These guys are still on their way. Are they doing all right? They seem to be doing okay. Yep. Good. What I plan on doing with these two is I plan on parking them at their pickup planet, because their pickup planet will also be set up to provide armor-piercing rounds. So if they're parked at their pickup planet, it ought to continue to keep their rounds filled as they sit there and shoot asteroids. So it looks like Berkshire is on station. And let's take a look, see. It should be no rocket silo accepting automated. Okay. So that would be Falgora. So let's get down here to Falgora and tell this to accept requests. There we go. And we might as well go over to Vulcanus and where is it? Tell this guy. Okay, this guy's already set up for requests. And this guy is here. So he's going to start taking his stuff on. Valley Forge is at Gleba. So we are going to go ahead and send this down. And, oops. Let's go to Gleba. Oh, we didn't want to send ice. Oh, well. We'll have to get rid of that at some point. Alright, so now let us, there's 10 of them, so let's put these down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll be enough for now. That should give us plenty of space to drop everything to. And we may rearrange these at some point. Why is this one? What's the issue with that one not going there? Why is it not going there? Is there something in the way? Let's see something here. No, that's nothing there. And maybe now we can do this. I don't know. You go up there. Maybe the tank was in the way? Tank was in the way, apparently. Alright, so there we go. So there's that. Now we can go up to the Valley Forge. And we can drop all this stuff. That is la-di-da-di everything. So Valley Forge can go back to Novice. And Berkshire should be loading. Sequoia should be loading. So let's go back to Gleba and see if we're sciencing. And we are indeed sciencing. So we don't have much left to science, guys. We're starting to get into the infinites. I definitely want the infinites for the stronger explosives. We did start making, I think, at the end of the last episode, if memory serves me right, we did start making carbon fiber. So we're going to be able to start making rocket turrets. Or missile turrets, or whatever they call them. I think it's missile turrets or rocket. Yeah, I don't know. What is it? Rocket turrets. Okay. So we can start building those. So then we'll be able to build a ship that we can get to Aquila with. So that's the plan. When we get the time. But anyway, there it is. Like I say, these guys are going to just back and forth once they're loaded up. And we'll back and forth them to Gleba. This guy, as a matter of fact, looks like he's ready. Gleba. And Berkshire should be pretty close to being ready. What are we missing? Missing some... looks like we're missing some ammo. So what are we waiting on? Oh, we're waiting on a rocket to finish building. At some point, we will probably change these out to better quality. It really isn't making them much of a difference. They go dead for a while, and they come back for a while, and they go dead for a while, and they come back for a while. It's really not that big of a deal. They do charge back up. It just takes time. So we may swap these out to better quality. Alright, you know what? I think we're going to send this guy. He should have plenty of ammo. That's all he's waiting on right now is ammo, so no big deal. Alright, Sequoia is there. So we can drop all of that stuff down. more? Okay, cool. Send it back to Vulcanus. Yeah, I know. You guys are getting shot at down there. What else is there? And what we will do is, as soon as Berkshire gets over there, we will drop the stuff down from Berkshire and send it back, and that'll be that. We'll go make one last check on Gleba, and we'll go about our business. Now, I did, just for the fun of it, on my test save, send one of these guys to Aquila just to see how far it could get, and not so much those big asteroids. These don't put a dent in it. It's gonna have to be rockets. They're vulnerable to explosion damage, so it's definitely gonna have to be rockets. All right. That is all done. We can send that back to Fulgora. Valley Forge is over here. Do we want to send more oil? I don't think we want. I think we want to get rid of the oil requests after this one. That'll be plenty. We don't need to send any more oil over there. We'll just fill up on the sciences. So Gleba is sciencing away. And we will have plenty. Now, I could set it up, my understanding, there's a way to set it up as a logistics request back and forth, I guess, but I'm not going to worry about it. We're down to the end on the science. We really don't need much more. The majority of the rest of the science that we need is going to be, once we get to Aquila, we need all of this stuff anyway, which we can't really do until we get there. Everything else from right here, basically, from the Spidertron, is, with the exception of transport belts, is basically infinite science. So we can just, grab and grab and grab. And what we're going to do is we're just going to grab stronger explosives for the most part. So there it is, guys. That's our first quick update. I probably will not send it out just by itself because it's only 12 or 13 minutes. We'll probably do a couple of these and put them together in a video. So there's the first one. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Alrighty, guys. So this is part 2 of our update series, videos, whatever. I'm going to combine this with the first one. We're just going to make one video out of it. And as always, changes on changes on changes. It looks like I will not have to be doing these very long, so this was probably going to be the only one of these. It covered the stuff we covered in the last half, and we're going to cover the stuff we cover this half, and then we're getting ready to go to Aquila. I didn't think it would be that soon, but it is. So let's take a look at some things we got going here. All right, first of all, Vulcanus over here is Vulcanus. It's just doing Vulcanus stuff. It's not doing much anything right now because we don't need any of it other than to send science, and that's about the extent of it. Gleba is Glebaing. We're doing research. We are working on level 10 stronger explosives right now. We have basically researched everything except for the new stuff that's coming, and the infinite sciences. That's basically it. I'm thinking about, because we are at 8,000 to research stronger explosives. I'm thinking about just concentrating on stronger explosives and projectile damage, simply because of going through space. I mean, we the rest of this stuff is It's nice, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, right now we're doing stronger explosives. I may go and hit stronger projectiles next, and then, well, yeah, you know what? We'll just put that there, and we'll put that there. We know both of these are 16K. Going to take a while, but yeah, we'll get them started so that they're at least progressing. So we're just sending science there. So that's what's going on there. Now, let's look at Fulgura. Here at Fulgura, I have started to get into the whole quality thing. I am not smart enough with the circuit stuff yet. One day I'm going to sit down and kind of play with it. I know some of the basic stuff. SR latches are pretty easy, that sort of thing. But this is voodoo to me right now. I've not figured out how to do it yet. But, you know, it's arithmetic combinators, decider combinators, constant combinators, and this is all working together to make quality whatever you want made. This is all set up. I got this blueprint off of Factorio Prints, and basically it's all parameterized. So you just tell it what you want to make, you tell it how many of them you want to make, and you tell it what quantity level you want it to make. And it basically brings in the supplies, makes one of whatever you want. Right now we're making quality 3 modules is what we're shooting for, a higher quality of quality 3 modules. So this is set to produce quality 3 modules, and it's going to take whatever's in here. It's going to kick it out into this chest. Now, it resets the recipe each time, so there's some leftover parts in here. Those automatically go back up here to the storage chest to go back in to make new ones. What comes out of here is the quality module. And when you set what level you want it to make, I think right now I am actually, yeah, I'm shooting for rare and better. So, or I'm sorry, I'm shooting for, what is it, epic and better, okay? So if it is epic, it's going to leave it in the chest. Anything less than epic, which means rare or less, is going to go into a recycler. That recycler is going to kick it out, put it back in this box. So if it's a higher quality, it goes into recycler, it's going to kick out higher quality parts. What this logic does is it says save all of the rare parts until you get enough rare parts to make an actual rare one. When you put a rare one in here, you're likely to get at least rare parts out, if not better parts. So it basically is every cycle upgrading the parts until you reach a point where you get the really good ones. Okay? So as of right now, we've got 4 epic modules and 13 rare quality modules in here. So we are doing rare quality. Okay. Oh yeah, because less than that. So I am holding the rare qualities. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm sending them back to novice. And then I've put module on, you know what? We've got these. It is time to do this. Each time I get an upgrade, I've been going into here and upgrading those, because the more they're upgraded, the better chance of getting, and so on and so forth. So now we've got epics in all of this. We're going to get more epics. So I set this up, and because it's just basically recycling the parts, recycling the parts, recycling the parts, yes, it has to refresh and add some new ones, but for the most part, we're just reusing the stuff that we're doing. And this is just going to grind away and grind away and grind away until I get these that I want. And then I send them where I need them. And that's what I've done down here at Novice. Is up here, I'm grinding away. And I'm adding quality modules to these and what have you. And these are my ship parts. So what I got going here is, here I am making solar panels, right? Because we're going to send solar panels to the ice planet. I know they don't get much solar, but we need something to start with. So the better the panel, the better it is. So we're going to send really good solar panels there. This is the storage. What do they call it again? It's crap. The cargo bays. So I'm making higher quality cargo bays, which means I can store more stuff on my ship. This is factories. We're getting higher quality factories because we need factories on the ship to make the ammo. So the higher the quality, the faster the factory. I may send up speed modules as well, but right now, the higher the factory, the better the quality. So better the quality, the higher the factory. So for instance, this one has a crafting speed of 2. It's a rare. This one has a speed of 2.37. It's an epic, right? So we're building those up. Same thing with the grinders. We want the grinders to be as fast as we can. We want the factories to be fast as we can because we're going to rely on these two for ammo. Same thing with the forges. We need forges as fast as they will go because, again, these three are going to be our ammo producers for our projectile ammo. Here we are doing heat towers. We're doing the heat towers because when we go to Aquilo, heat towers are going to be a thing that we really need. And the difference here is this one puts out 25.6 megawatts. This one puts out 30.4 megawatts, which means we can heat more heat pipes with the same tower, right? So we're going to be sending quality towers up. This one is doing chem plants. Same deal. We need chem plants to make the fuel on the ship. We're going to need chem plants on Aquilo to make the rocket fuel and the ice and the what have you. The rocket fuel is what's going to keep us warm. So we are making a bunch of these quality things. And basically, I'll show you what this does. I got this quality grinder book. Let's see if it says who the author of this stuff is. It does not, but if you look for quality grinder in Factorio prints, that's where I got it. Okay, and this thing is set up. You got the grinders themselves, which is the single thing that's just going to grindy. You've got helper modules, which are going to help speed things up. I haven't figured out how to connect these yet, so I'm not using them yet. And then you've got extras. And the extras are storage extensions, no bot extension, speed extension. They're basically going to let you put stuff in that's going to help with your process. I haven't put them in. I didn't see any use to. But let's look at the grinder and how this works. So we've got a grinder that uses an assembler, a grinder that uses the electromagnetic one, a grinder that uses the foundry, and then one's for the liquid and what have you. But they're all basically set up the same, right? It's just which one is there. But certain things you can't make in this. You have to make them in the assembler. You can make everything in the assembler. So we're going to pick this up, and I'm going to take it over here and put it down because we're not going to use it. I'm just going to show you. So if you notice, all of this stuff is already preset parameters. If we click this down, it's going to ask you, what recipe do you want? And says, don't forget to set the less than sign. All right? So we're going to click here. And let's say we want, I don't know, better pump jacks, right? Now, some of the things that require huge amounts of materials, like the reactors and stuff like that, that's where those extra blueprints come in. But let's say we're going to make pump jacks, okay? We say pump jacks. We say less than, and we want to be less than legendary, maybe, right? We haven't gotten to the legendary research yet, so we can't really do it. But let's say we want epic or better, right? So then we're going to say epic. So we're going to say less than, anything less than epic, because that's what we want is epic. Click the check mark. We're going to tell it how many of them we want. Say we want 50. and we're going to click confirm. What's going to happen is the bots are going to come in, they're going to set all the stuff down, and this thing is going to be ready to churn through all of that until we get epic level pump jacks. Now, you don't see a recipe here because there are no ingredients in here yet. It's going to take the ingredients based on what ingredients are available. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to set up for a basic recipe, because that's all that's there is the basic ones. And then this recipe will set over to, once it gets all the pieces parts, this will set over to a basic pump jack. And it'll just start chugging away and churning away. Now you can go in here and change out these modules, because it's set up for having epic quality modules in there right now, which I don't have. But there it is. That's how it works. And it's just a grindy, and takes care of everything. And like I say, I'm not smart enough with the circuits yet to know exactly how this is doing it. You can see how fast this sucker's running. And you can see all the different things that are kind of set up input signal wise and what have you to come into some of this stuff, right? So I'm going to, at some point, sit down and scratch my head and diagram this out, figure out how this works, so I can understand this crap, so that I can start to be this good, because I am not this good. So anyway, there's that. Now, let's talk about how we're going to get there, all right? Here's how we're going to get there. So we have the Valley Forge, which is the ship that I'm using to go back and forth between planets. And I started with the Valley Forge, and I said, okay, the drive section of the Valley Forge works. I like the drive section. It's pretty compact. It kind of loops around this. So let's use the drive section. And then I said, well, what are we going to need? We're going to need storage, right, to take stuff. So I said, what if I extend this? Because I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got 6. I've got 6 storage bays right here, right? What if, instead of doing these 2 here, I cut this off right here, and then I cut this section out right here, and I make this section longer and put in more of these storage bays, and then I move just this fuel section down to it, and we get rid of what's in the middle here and we make it longer. That was my starting premise. So let's go over here to SID. Now, you remember I used SID, the name SID before, but then I changed it. So we're going to use SID. I was going to call it the Big Bus, and I think my next ship that's going to go to Aquilo, which will probably be like a factory ship, I think we're going to call the Big Bus. And if you know what that's from, then by all means, raise flags of all nation. So I took that drive section, and I cut it out, and then I just started extending my storage. And here's the storage. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 storage bays, right? And then I started playing around with where I wanted to set my fuel production, which was what I had before. And I got to thinking, and I was like, you know what? We got to go a long ways. So instead of moving the fuel section down, I put in a bunch of tanks, and that gave me the room to extend this. It kept it in the same kind of form factor, only instead of being round, it's longer. So now we've got that. And then I went back to the Valley Forge, and I looked at the front piece, and I grabbed this as my example. And then we went back to SID, and I started playing with the front piece. And I moved it around some and added out. This, ignore this for right now, we'll get to that. So I flattened it out, I added some turrets to it and what have you, but that's basically the front piece of the Valley Forge. So then I said, okay, well, we're going to want grabbers on the side, and we got to get this materials around here. So I made 2 belts that basically loop the entire length of the ship. And one belt is going to hold my offensive weapons. One side of it holds my magazines, one side of it holds my missiles. Okay, because we've got to have missiles for the big asteroids. The projectiles won't touch them. I mean, they do, but I can't carry enough ammo on the ship to destroy one. So we're using missiles, which is why why I am researching the explosive leveling. So that's this belt, half on one side, half on the other side. This belt is a single-sided belt. I didn't really initially I was going to try it with one belt, so I set everything up to be one-sided for the resources, and then just didn't use the other side. I could probably add something to that if I needed to. But this carries the stuff that's coming off the asteroids. And again, I set the filtering up like I did before. Only because this belt is way longer, rather than doing 50, I'm doing 150 of each item on here. And that's taking it in and sending it out. And again, that goes the entire length of the ship. And the reason it goes the entire length of the ship is I've got grabbies all the way down the side. And I've got grabbies in the front. Well, now we're going to see most of our stuff in the front, so I got more grabbies up here than I do on the side. As far as spacing wise, but that was the deal. So then we had that. So then I started filling it, and I said, okay, we need weapons. We need weapons, and we need power. So my first consideration was weapons. So I went around and I set up rockets, and the rockets, as they're set up, cover the entirety of the ship. And I did extras up here. There's 5 rocket turrets up here, because that's where we're going to get most of it, is coming in from this front, right? And then from the sides, we didn't need nearly as much other than station keeping. But these cover most of the length of the craft for most of them. So if we lose one, we're still sort of covered, is my thought process. Okay, and then we went around and we added in projectile turrets. And so I've got the projectile turrets in there. There's a bunch of those. Then after that, I had this space up here, and I kind of tried to keep this as open as possible to do the 2 things that I needed to do. And the 2 things I knew I needed to do was ammo construction and power. So over here, we're pulling off, and I snuck some stuff in the belt. This is a really good trick up here. This is all wasted space, except for the fact that I'm grabbing from these locations. I could put undergrounds here and here, and I could put in like maybe accumulators or something else or whatever. Now here I got space because I got to have space for the inserters. But what this is going to do, it's going to come off, it's going to crush your metallic, and the metallic's going to come down here, right? It's going to pluck it off of the belt, it's going to crush it, it's going to put the extra back on the belt, and it's going to send the iron over here. This is going to forge. This is why I said I need these quick forges, and we're probably going to put modules in these, is so that I can make ammo. Now I'm only making yellow magazines. If I wanted to make the armor-piercing magazines, I'd have to have a lot more infrastructure here, or I'd have to send up raw materials and still have more infrastructure. But I don't seem to need it. With as high as we've researched on projectiles, I don't seem to need it. So then that's going to make my ammo, and that's going to try and keep this belt full. Now, it's not going to keep the belt completely full, but it is going to, keep us in ammo and what have you. That's why we needed these to be as fast as they can. On the other side, I did the same thing. I've got a crusher making iron ore. Iron ore is making iron plates. But now we're turning it into rockets. And I'm turning it into regular rockets and then explosive rockets, because I've already got... The only difference between regular rockets and explosive rockets is explosives. And I've already got to have them up here for this, so why not have them up here for this? And then that puts it on the belt. So I am ordering in explosives. We're going to carry explosives with us. Now, if you look, there's only 2 things coming in and out of this section. Explosives and fuel. All right. So then I squeezed in a single reactor. All right. Now this is overkill as far as the heat exchangers go. I know it's overkill. I had the space. We just squeezed it in there. It helped me to route my water, because I have storage tanks here for water. They can go right through the heat exchangers, to the water, and then the water comes down here to go into the tanks for fuel, right? And because I knew I was going to need so much water, I've got 2 ice crushers now instead of just the single ice crusher that I have on the Valley Forge. So there it is. That's going to take our fuel in and out, and we can unload the fuel at the end of our trip. We're going to have to send up explosives every time to supply this thing, so we might as well send up fuel every time to supply it, dump the old fuel. We're going to have to send up the supplies it's carrying anyway. So there it is. This is the whole shebang. It's pretty compact. It is square. I could have made it pointy, or I could have put wings on it, or whatever else. I wanted to keep it as small as possible. And this thing weighs 380 tons. So the 2 thrusters shouldn't have a problem moving it. Unlike with the Valley Forge, where this rear gun has to be loaded manually, this gun pulls off of the belt just like the other ones do. Now I am pre-filling all of these. I haven't gotten it done yet. I'm still sending up some rockets. Before each trip, we're going to pre-fill all of the turrets. Excuse me, so that they will all be completely full. Now I got to go through and do the gun turrets as well. All right. So what we'll probably do is we're going to leave from Folgora. We'll take this over to Folgora. We'll pre-fill all of the turrets before we go to Aquila. But this should do it. Now all we have to do is fill this puppy up. And it's got a fair bit of room because of the addition of these rare, and in I think one case, yeah, there it is, 1 epic cargo bay. Now, if by the time I get stuff sent up here, I can replace some of these other cargo bays, I will do that. But you see, I did the same thing with the solar panels. They are now all epics, and we're going to continue to upgrade this stuff as we fill this puppy, and that'll be for our trip to Aquila. So now we have to get this thing filled. I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to take a bunch of rocket launches to get this thing filled. And then in the next episode, we are going to Aquila. I will probably, rather than going from here to Folgora and filming that, I will probably start with this at Folgora, and with all of our turrets and stuff all filled up so that we can just make the journey. All right? So there it is, guys. It didn't take me nearly as long to get ready for this as I thought it was going to. I did add some more iron and what have you that are going into my smelting. We still got some more to add, but for the most part, I think we're actually ready to go to Aquila. And that's why I'm making these suckers, because these are going to be one of the things that's going to go up, is at least the epic heat towers. We'll probably take all of them so that we'll have them there, and we'll go from there. So that's it. That's part 2, and next episode we are Aquila bound. All right, have a good day. Bye.